That's the best reason.
Oh, we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But I have a story behind it. When balloon was invented in 1783, the Montgolfier brothers from France, they were the one who introduced the balloon. Their father had a pepper mill factory, and one day they were sitting outside down in the west. They could see smoke rising, and the waste paper was going up, and they thought maybe they can capture the smoke and use it to fly. But they were not sure if there is any oxygen out there. So what they did, they made a very big bag by using peppers, and underneath they attached cage on it, whereby they lock on the rooster chicken and ducks. It was their experiment to see if these animals will survive. And they burned everything that they believed could produce the smoke, cut the attachment, and off they let it flew. They flew for about 30 minutes, and when they found this equipment, it was completely destroyed, and those animals were gone. So they were very disappointed. They went to their fathers and told their fathers the experiment did not work out. But the next morning, when they were cruising in the middle of Paris, they found these farmers telling the story, how they saw this thing come from the sky, how they destroyed the equipment and saved those animals for lunch. So they were very happy. Their father were very happy. They knew that the experiment worked out, but those animals were taken by the human being. They went to the king. By the time King Louis XVI narrated the idea to the king, and king commissioned them to build even a bigger bag, and this time for a human being. And king wanted that thing to happen in front of the French palace. By the time Montgolfier brothers were making that balloon, king was calling people from nearly and far, like 400,000 people gathered to see the event, which was believed to be a biggest gathering up to that moment. Balloon was laid down, ready to go, but nobody wanted to go for the first flight. Here's to the guy. Go to the gallows, collect some prisoners. We toss them in. We fly them. If they survive, we let them free. But if they die, who cares? They are criminals anyway. Yeah. But the time those guards were going to gallows to collect those convicts, king's wife first said to the king, no, this will not be a good idea, because if they come and do the flight and survive, they will go in history book as a very, very famous people. The French country will be looking as a very foolish country to convict prisoners to be very important people. So you better bring another idea. Another idea was to announce a very big prize, and amongst spectators, one nobleman stepped out by the name of Pilatre de Rosier. They call him Pilot, and that's where we get the name pilot in aviation nowadays. And he didn't want to go by himself. He called his best friend, who was a French scientist, who was dying to fly one day, and jump into the basket, cut the rope, and off they went. They flew for 20 minutes, and when we were coming down for landing, they had nothing to control the descent as we had today. They hit the ground very hard, and they were both ejected from the basket. And that balloon was keep on flying to the farmers' fields, setting everything around on fire. The farmers were very angry. They were chasing that equipment because they thought they were the devils or demons come from the sky to destroy their crops. In 1783, nobody have seen anything apart from birds flying. And they were chasing that equipment, wanted to destroy it. They saw these noblemen that fell out earlier trying to save their beasts. They turned to them, wanted to kill them, but those guys were keen enough to run back to the king. And when they go to the king, they say to the king, flying is great, but landing, no. Wherever we land, we will be killed by the landowners. Then king had an idea, because by that time, nobody was allowed to keep champagne, only a French king. He announced, whoever goes out to fly, you have to go to the palace, you collect some few bottles of champagne, and when you land, the champagne has got a big label, French flag, and signature from the king. And when you land, you give it to landowners and tell the landowners that the flight was sanctioned by the king. That's why we keep it traditional on here in Grumeti. Those buffaloes and giraffe don't take champagne, so we welcome everybody to share champagne. That's my story.
Beautiful.
Now we have a traditional in Serengeti. Whoever catch this cock before it touches the ground is going to be a tomorrow's pilot.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to
For
do
free.
your paperwork.
Is it a free ride?